Hello there. Welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. This week's discussion topics are anything you think is important having to do with racism, bigotry, and inequality in America. And unfortunately, that's pretty much everything. So if you're coming on to participate, thanks for being here. And please don't be shy. This is meant to be an opportunity for people to voice their opinions, not just me blabbing all the time, which I do. James, thank you for being here. Yay, I'm excited. Tonight's show is also serves as a learning tool, an educational tool for white folks who need to learn the truth about our real racial history. And it's certainly not going to come from top down, so it needs to come from bottom up. So if you could do one thing, get one thing from any one of the videos that I do or the shows, is if you're a white person, learn to debunk all the ludicrous denials of racism so that in your life you can stand up and not be, kind of going, oh, what do I say? What do I say? Get comfortable talking about racism. Get so comfortable that it's just, whatever. It's just like anything else. I don't know how much I follow sports. A little bit sometimes, but we're going to talk about Michael Vick tonight. And, oh, that's okay. Everyone misspells everything on this. It's fine. So for people who don't know who I am Angry Soccer Mom, more upset, hurt, disappointed than angry, but I host this live show every week, Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Pat, yay, thank you so much for being here. And I run a number of online communities, and I'm starting a new panel show for people who want to have their opinion heard, basically. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you believe like I do that it's way past time for white America to learn our real racial history and give a shit about our fellow humans. It's not complicated. I'm not a complex person. So please subscribe to my channel if you support me, or share it. And I already have a question. James, do you think college athletes should be paid? That is so funny. I was a college athlete. I played for my college. I played tennis for my college. I am not sure, to be completely frank with you. I am very, very forthright, and I have not given it enough thought in this day and age, because I've been, kind of old. So I've been out of it for a while. But it's definitely, I don't know. I know that sounds terrible, but if I don't have a strong opinion, I do not espouse one. So I don't know. I apologize for that, but yeah, I'm not sure. But I'm happy to hear what you have to say. Okay. I have a special announcement. Once again, starting January 8th, I'm hosting an hour-and-a-half panel each week, and I would love, love, love for anybody and everybody to be involved in it. It's going to be a predetermined topic, no surprises, and guests will choose. Neil, yay, hello, thank you so much. Thanks for being here, Neil. Guests will choose what they want to talk about, and you don't have to be a PhD. You can have a PhD in experience, and I'm not going to choose people who are, against, each other's stance, but everybody has their own. No one's a monolith. No group of people are a monolith. So hopefully we'll get a lot of topics and questions, and I'm going to step back and just kind of host it. So I'll be sending out stuff in the next couple of weeks. I'm ready for James' question. James, I think if they get paid to play, then scholarship should be null and void. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely. Thanks for. I'm more than happy to read what your opinion is on it. There's so few things I don't have an opinion on, but that's kind of one of them. I don't know enough information, and the way I do things is, if I don't know enough, I kind of hold back my opinion until I kind of figure out the details. In fact, that is what my rant is on tonight, about details matter. So I kind of wrote up a really strange thing to talk to you all about. So I'm hoping you'll bear with me. The following topics are something I prepared for tonight's live show, but please feel free to bring up any topic having to do with racism, bigotry, and inequality in America, because that is what the show's about. James, I could educate you, but that's for another episode. Actually, that would be wonderful. Actually, I would love it. It's just been so long since I've been in the, in the mix. I'm old. Don't make fun of me. But yeah, it's a great question. Neil, I do not think there should, thanks, Neil, for your opinion. I do not think they should be paid for college sports when they are there to get an education. Right? There we go. It's definitely going to mix up stuff. It's a lot to say about that. It's a very good topic though, James. So Leslie, I just saw you. Yay. Thanks for being here. Stevie, awesome. Really happy that people are here. I just appreciate the support and I want your opinions because tonight we're going to be talking about Anton. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy. Tonight we are talking about some pretty edgy stuff. And I really want people to feel comfortable. Thank you so much for being here. I want you to feel comfortable saying what you think. No one's going to pounce on you. And, the only people that get booted off of this show are trolls who basically aren't there to learn, aren't there to teach. They're there to just kind of be jerks. And no one's going to convince us that being rotten, inhumane, and racist, and bigoted, and sexist to our fellow humans is a good thing. So we just don't need it. So that's the rules. And hopefully we won't have any more trolls. Michael Vick's arrest it changed the plight of abused dogs in America, and I'll explain a little further. So that's one of the topics I prepared. I found it a little bit interesting. The second topic I prepared was the petition for. There's been some serious amount of people who have signed petitions. I want to talk about the double standard with that, and I'm going to go into depth. And a lot of people, I don't have an opinion. It's not my place, quite frankly. It's just not my place. But I want to know what you think. And the third thing I prepped for was the death of Carlos Vasquez in the prison camp. He was a little boy who died of the flu. And it's really hard to talk about people who died. But I need to talk about it with everybody because it's like the insanity is just overwhelming with all this stuff. People need to know the truth about what our government's doing. And the last thing is I just put up a video on YouTube about the Border Patrol, border arrests today. They're a Jewish group that's very, very outspoken, as well as many, many doctors gathered at the border, San Diego border. And they wanted to give flu shots to the people who are cooped up in these terribly, terribly small, awful prisons, basically. And what's going on is they said no, and so they got arrested, and it was a whole thing. But so I'm going to talk about that, and I will take some comments, and then we'll get started. But remember, anything you want to talk about is absolutely fine. Just bring it up, and if I don't know about it, then it's about, you can just tell us, and there'll be plenty of people who will debate you if you have your information wrong. I count on my friends who are watching too, and viewers and my people I haven't met to jump on in and just keep it real, because that's what this show's about. Enough of my yapping. Let me see. What have I forgotten? Anton, thank you. Anton, I just put all of your comments, all of your mantra comments on every one of my videos on YouTube. I just put them all on there. I don't know if you saw them. James, the left wing and the right wing belong to the same bird. Yes, a lot of people think that. A lot of people are disgusted. Anton, you got notification. I wonder, I have no clue why, but I'm glad you did. That's weird. But yeah, James, everybody is telling me stuff like that it's, our government is slowly, more maybe faster than we think. Getting the trust is just being. I mean, the trust, if there was trust, is just getting destroyed with, especially with Trump continuously bad-mouthing our own government. God, did you guys hear him today? It's just disgusting. But anyway, yeah, this is not good. This is not good. Anton, I'm psyched that you got notification, and I have no clue how. Pat, I disagree. They may be there for education, but they have to pay for that education. So I think it's good that they get paid so they can pay for their education. Yeah. James, murderers and child killers get forgiven, but Vick don't. Yes, that is something we're going to talk about. Nathan, thank you for being here. I don't know how long you can stay, but I am thrilled to have you here. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that, James, that it's like dogs matter more than people, especially people who are non-white. And yeah, let's bring it on. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to do a quick rant, and then we're going to spend a lot of time on that. And I hope people tell me what they think. James, it's the truth. Left and right are the same bird. Everything is all a work. Yeah. I don't know how I would be able to handle all this if I was a Black, brown, indigenous, African-American, Hebrew, Israelite. I don't know, because this is sort of saying I'm supposed to be this white person, and it's devastating. This is not the country. I knew we weren't perfect. Yes, we've done tons and tons of crimes against humanity, but we have a constitution that should be flexible enough to be fixed if the people want it. And our people are too ignorant. And that's the way they like to keep us ignorant, so that we won't think for ourselves. So we're going to talk a lot about that. It's really sad. This is not the nation that at least I thought we were slowly headed maybe in the right direction, but I don't know. It's kind of nuts. Yeah. They want us racially divided so that the people who are in numerical minority groups never see a common plight with all the other folks who aren't rich, aren't wealthy, and should unite to stop the wealthiest elites. But they got us fooled. White folks have been conned, and we've fallen for it century after century. It's really sad. But anyway, my rant. Okay. My rant will be relatively, okay, I can't lie. It's not going to be short. I'm just kidding. It will be maybe interesting, maybe not. I barely proofread it. Yeah, Nathan, great comment. Our problem is we're regressing instead of progressing. Exactly. I thought Trump, like before he came, I was like, oh my God, he's going to take us back 50 years. Excuse me for being so wrong. More like 100. I mean, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And if you want to hear me yell and scream about it, go on to my YouTube channel, because I think I've done a video on every single topic. It is absolutely unconscionable what we're allowing. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, we don't allow it. What are you talking about? Well, we kind of do, though, because in my opinion, if you watch Hong Kong, if you watch other nations, they have real people who really, really are out there. A lot of Americans, like, for example, a lot of folks who, just not really affecting them any. So it's not the people who are the KKK people. It's not the people who are just killing themselves to get by. It's the people in the middle who, it really doesn't impact them much yet. And not caring about our fellow humans is, and combined with the, lack of education and us easily being fooled, it's killing us. But so my rant is about details mattering. It's a very simple concept. I'm going to describe 3 scenarios to you that were actually news talking points at some point during Trump's administration. 3, and you'll probably recognize them. I want you to picture them in your head, because I'm going to ask you about these 3 separate scenarios that were news items, news events. I'm going to ask you about them later. I want you to picture what you think of them. The first one is a teenager goes to a party hosted by mutual friends. She is at least acquaintances with everybody there. While the party's going, a teenage boy attempts to violently rape her. Some news stations reported it as it was a he said, she said. Okay, think about what you're imagining in that situation. Just make a mental picture of it. Okay, next, second scenario. Next, thousands of criminals are crossing the southern border, and they're trying to illegally come into America. All right. Excuse me for 1 second. And oh my goodness. Boop. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay. These people were arrested and their children were taken away. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's the protocol when an adult asylum seeker is a felon trying to get into America. Third scenario. Black medical student applicants with lower MCAT scores are being let into medical school ahead of white students. This is reverse discrimination. That's what it is. All right, so those are the 3 scenarios. And let me just see what I can do here. Goodness, there's not a lot of options here. Not a lot of options. Okay. Goodness, goodness, goodness. Okay, almost back. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. Boy, they are not giving me good options. Okay, I'll figure something out. Okay, the next. So now think of what you've envisioned and white privilege narratives 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, pretty much. Very good. I knew. Yeah. So now tell me what you envisioned, and I'm going to tell you what they were. And I'm sure a lot of people know what they are. But think of what you thought of when you heard just those words. The first one, the teenage boy attempting to rape a girl at a party, he said, she said, was obviously Brett Kavanaugh. Dr. Ford, who testified in front of Congress. And remember, this is under the guise of details actually do matter. Okay? Under the guise of details do matter, Dr. Ford was a teenage girl. She went to a party of mutual, small party of some mutual friends. And at some point during the party, Dr. Ford went up a winding staircase because she had to go to the bathroom. As she entered the hallway towards the bathroom, someone she never saw her shoved her from behind into a bedroom where Kavanaugh and his 2 buddies were there waiting. They locked the door behind her and proceeded to jump on top of her and rape her. Dr. Ford had a full-piece bathing suit on because she was at diving practice that day and never took it off. And she believes that is why she didn't get raped that day. Was that what you pictured? Because the news made it sound like a he said, she said. Details matter. And that's my point. The second situation, regarding the thousands of criminals attempting to illegally cross the border. Well, would you like to know what their felony conviction was? Because they had a felony conviction, according to our government. And the reason their children were snatched from them without explanation was because of their felony. And it's because Trump made a policy change where it became a felony to seek asylum if you cross the southern border. It is a felony now. Okay, it was not a felony before, or if it was not enforced in that regard. The parents were arrested immediately, charged as felons, and their children were taken away. The rest of the details, here's the thing. Details matter. I actually have a bunch of videos on this actual thing. A lot of people don't realize what really happened because they're not into the details. If you don't know the details, then you have no idea what the sick atrocities are really happening, and you create your opinions based on absolute ignorance and misinformation, and that's what a lot of people are doing. Ronald, hello. My third scenario that I asked you to think about was Black medical student applicants who are allowed in programs, despite some of them having lower scores than the white applicants. Let me explain that. That was something that was thrown out in the past 3 years. And if you don't know the details, wow, that sounds really bad, doesn't it? And sorry for my sarcasm, but it's unbelievable how many people don't research, they don't look into things, they don't check their sources, and so they believe anything they freaking hear. Let me explain what happened with these. Jamie, hello. Thanks for being here. Justin, he didn't know how to talk to her the right way. He didn't. I'm not sure even what to say. I'm not sure if you're joking or okay. The medical students who did get in, it was true. Around our country, they're letting in medical students who are Black, who have lower scores than, not a lot lower, but some on their MCATs. Let me explain why. If you get into the details, which is what I am advocating, I know everyone watching probably does, but this is so important and we have to get our friends to do this. Here's the deal, and you'll understand. What happened was these people were getting in and a big fuss was made because here's the thing. Okay, white applicants were getting in. There was a huge research study that came out a couple of years back, and it was presented to the medical body that governs admissions to U.S. medical schools. The study revealed that there was a direct correlation between MCAT scores and how much money the applicants' parents made. It was determined at this big meeting of all the schools that scores revealed more about how wealthy the parents were because they could take their kids and allow them to go to the MCAT study training programs, which are thousands of dollars sometimes, up to like 2,000 plus, and they could afford that, so their children scored better. That being, undeniable, the schools in America, medical schools, got together and said, hey, that's not cool. Let's not weight the MCATs as much as we did before because it's not fair. Yet, the scenario I described earlier was simply Black students are getting into medical school when they have worse MCAT scores. And so details matter. And I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, but it's so important. So hopefully you can tell that details do matter. People who don't have time to do their own research or to hear the details of the full story are a con man's dream come true. They'll literally believe anything. And that's what's happened with Trump supporters. Trump's living proof that an uneducated populace who cannot use their gift, their God-given gift of humanity and critical thinking skills, is absolutely a danger to every single one of us. And that sounds like a really strange badge. Hello. Oh my gosh, details matter. Thank you. I cannot, it's such a little obvious thing, but the way I described the scenario said, now tell me, did anyone know what I was referring to when I described these very kind of the scenarios with no details? It's just so important. I made it sound like I wanted it to sound, and the truth was so different. Context and details matter. And now I will be quiet, if you can believe that, and I will take some comments and questions. Let me see. And I just can't thank you enough for being here. As most people know, I've been going through a lot with Facebook. They decided they don't like what I have to say. And I put a big video on. I normally don't blab about myself, but I did. And the outpouring of kindness from my friends and people who watch what I do has been just, don't make me cry. But anyway, I will take some comments and let me see. Jamie, Facebook's blocked a comment I made right. I'm so glad you're bringing it up. Facebook blocked a comment I made 3 or 4 months ago, and they say it goes against their rules. Also, doctors getting arrested for helping immigrants' children get the flu shot. Yes, I have that in my rundown of things, and I thank you for that video today. Nathan, but when you bring facts or details, people say fake news. Right, yeah, we're in a really bad spot right now. It's kind of like too little too late, I guess you could say. But yeah, absolutely. It's at this point, and I don't know how you guys have found it, but I found that like people don't want to know the truth. They don't care. It's like a Dunning-Kruger effect on steroids. They want to stick with what they think, and they have no idea how much they don't know to even judge that they're being a freaking moron. Facts are still facts. And it's getting pretty crazy out there, and I get the feeling it's going to get worse. The people who don't want facts being told have a lot to lose. I'm ashamed of personally, I'm just, not that they care what I think, but I'm ashamed of the Republican people who, it's disgusting. I don't know how they face themselves. My God, I'm not even a Democrat. I just can't believe the lack of personal integrity. Because you know what? No matter where they turn, there is one person who always knows that they're full of shit, and that's them. And I don't get how they live with themselves. It's unbelievable. The lies are overwhelming. Let me see. That's actually what happened to me, Jamie. That's what happened to me too. A post I put up that was benign from weeks ago, all of a sudden they said, you're off for 3 months. But that was after I was already not having anything shared ever. So it was like, okay, what else can you do to me? Come on. It was just ridiculous. The whole thing is not pretty. And if you watch my video, I'm not going to get into it, but I have some very, very deep concerns about Facebook and Big Brother and how this is all coming down, because Big Brother's here, and I think it's social media. Okay, let me back it up here. Gary, I am so happy you're here. Yes, let me see. I think I might have skipped somebody. I'm so sorry. Let me back it up. Yeah. Besh, details and context are so important. And let me see. Oh, Jamie, Trump supporters make threats if Trump is impeached that they will kill people or start as much. Neil, Kim, I got several responses from people I haven't heard from supporting you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And Neil, I appreciate so many of my amazing, amazing friends. Thank you so much for supporting what I'm trying to do, which is basically, I'm trying to show white folks that I'm a white, God, I'm like a ghost. I'm a white person, and I'm talking about racism, and it didn't kill me. And you know, it's okay. We got to learn to talk about racism and be honest in an honest way. It's the only way we're ever going to get our nation to have equity for everybody. Equity. I mean, right now we're living a lie. We're living a lie. Liberty and justice for all. It's a joke. And I know we can do better than this. And I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about everybody. We have to be better than this. And white folks aren't saviors. They're not leading the pack by any means. If they are, they're a couple centuries too late. But God forbid we actually give a shit about our fellow humans. And that's where I come in. I care, and I'm not leading, and I'm no savior. I'm saving myself, because I can't stand living in a society that's this sick and cruel. It hurts me. Okay, so let's make it all about me. No, I'm just kidding. But so if one person sees me talking about racism and saying the word black without freaking out, then maybe one person, one person will be helped. And that's all I care about. Just one. And if it's more than one, then so be it. So that's why I yap and never shut up. That's why I used to be shy, and now I'm not. Now I'm a big mouth. Thank you, Neil, for telling me that. Besh. Okay. Like most institutions in our society, which are inherently white, all are built one way or another from slavery. The medical industry, for sure. Oh, yeah. Well, that's part of the thing I was discussing. I don't know if I was talking to you about it, but the reason I'm so passionate about educating white folks about our real racial history and the truth is because until we know our real racial history, we have absolutely no idea about how all of that impacts today. If you don't know about redlining, if you don't know about sundown towns, if you don't know about black codes, if you don't know about the Devil's Punch Bowl, so I'm just going on and on. If you don't know about Jim Crow and just all these things, if you think, oh, the slaves were emancipated into humans, all of a sudden they took human beings who had lives, civilizations, families, culture, and they dragged them against their will and then stripped them of their humanity. God knows I won't even get into it because I'm going to do a video on this, on the truth. It'll be my third and fourth one. It's going to be ugly, but that's what we need to hear. We need to hear the truth. And then they forced humans into this enslaved status. And it's disgusting. And everything seems to lead back to racism. And I get the whole sicko relationship between, as much as I can, I get the whole like strange symbiotic, I don't even know if that's the right word, relationship between capitalism and having people be looked at as not as good or something like that. But this whole racism stuff, it's out of control, as is capitalism, unchecked. So anyway, I'm blabbing, supposed to be taking comments. Agree 100%. That's why I'm into this, is because everything seems to lead back to racism. Derek, YouTube is throttling your channel. Actually, yeah, well, they've been pretty good with me. It's unbelievable. Facebook's the one that well, and it's because I did a video on this. Yeah, that's funny, Derek. Yeah, they hate me. I'm an equal opportunity hated person, but you know what? It's like, why would I not talk about the truth about this? I talk about the truth about everything in my life, or at least I try to. Why would I go, oh, well, this is different, I'm going to lie about this? I think not. So, whatever. I'm sure I'll get kicked off of lots of them, but I'm not giving up till I'm completely kicked off, because, and even then I'm not going to. This is too important. Like I say constantly, just because we were all born into this, it doesn't mean we ignore it. We were born into this, so, it's not my problem. Yes, it is our problem. If you think about, Dr. Martin Luther King spoke often about, until everyone has true equity and equality, then no one does. And I absolutely believe that with all my heart. So this is not some service I'm providing. I'm doing this for me, because this is not right. And I will never stand and do nothing while my fellow humans are being abused. I just won't. I can't take it. So anyway, and I can't shut up either. So wham. Okay, Pat, Kim, America is deeply rooted in racist agenda here. Oh God, it's in, like Obama said, it's in the fabric. It's, when I work with some of the white folks who are just kind of learning about this, I actually say, take whatever you think, how bad in the depths of racism in this society, multiply it by a gazillion, and you may be getting close. It's unstinking believable. Capitalism requires slavery. Bez is saying yes. Fuel. Literally everything leads back. It's unbelievable. And a lot of people say, well, white folks started it, we have to end it. That's not my place to say, oh, that's right, that's wrong. But I can only speak for myself. And it is so wrong on such a fundamental, okay, I'll just say it. This is not how life's supposed to be. It just isn't. And I'm not all knowing. I'm just, the average person, but this is not how life's supposed to be. We're here on this planet for such a short period of time, and happened to cross paths with each other for a grain of sand in a entire ocean. Why would it be best to treat our fellow humans like a piece of shit? I just don't get it. Anyway, enough of me like going on and on. I got to get up my soapbox. Michael Vick, let's talk. I've been reading a lot recently. There are too many people today who don't know who Michael Vick is, the star NFL player who was arrested and served time for running dogfight rings. And under the guise of details matter, I wanted to talk about that tonight, because I am seeing lots of, okay, I'll just say it, lots of white folks saying, oh, we cannot have him, have any accolades whatsoever. He cannot be, getting recognized for anything great. He did this horrible thing. And then a lot of folks of every skin tone and melanization, if I should make up a word, are saying, are you freaking kidding me? People care about dogs more than they care about people of color, black people, indigenous people. I mean, so it's like, what a slap in the face. And secondly, or thirdly, or fourthly, the other argument is, excuse me, black folks, brown folks, African Americans, black people, Israelites, Hebrew people who are not Caucasian have been asked to be forgiving of the unconscionable. Okay? Yet, for the most part, people do not forgive. I mean, they don't even admit that there's systemic racism. So I personally don't have an opinion on this. So I hope it's coming out that way. I get dogs are innocent. I absolutely get that. So I'm going to go into that with a little background and details about what really happened. I'm going to start by talking about what he did. And I'm going to end a little bit talking about what he said and what he's done for, to try to somehow, he'll never make right, but at least he tries, Pat, how many times white people do something stupid and they're treated like nothing even? Absolutely. Absolutely. By police, by law enforcement, by politicians, yeah. So a lot of people don't know the depth. So it's going to sound like I'm completely, but I don't have an opinion. It's not my place. It's out of my lane. If I'm not a black person, it's not my place to go there. But I want to know what you think. There's no right or wrong. It's what you think. I mean, unless you're connected to the NFL somehow, I don't think you're going to have much pull anyway. I know I'm not, but I want to know because this is definitely something to talk about. Why does the Caucasian male fear non-whites? Richard, a great question. Caucasian male. I have absolutely no idea. I think a lot of it's probably propaganda. I mean, from way back when. Give me the people who are listening. You tell me. I have no idea. Timmy, yay! Yeah, and the Caucasian female is also included that. That's a good point. Because see, and I'm not a misogynist, but I like to keep it real. I'm sorry, I do. And too many white women stand meekly behind their racist as F-U-C-K men and are like, oh, what do I do? No. I'm not buying it. If you are married to a racist piece of shit, that is on you. And you, by definition, are supporting a racist person. And I'm not trying to be hardcore and nasty, but I just want to be real. White women have been slave owners. White women have been the ones that wiped tears and cried and accused people of doing things. And this is an equal opportunity thing going on here. So, but yeah, I don't know why, I guess Caucasian males fear, let me see, why does the Caucasian male fear non-white? Yeah, I have no idea. It's kind of interesting. Once a young black man wrote to me, because I get people writing to me all the time, and it was so innocent and sweet, but it was also really heartbreaking. He wrote me, "Dear angry soccer mom, can you please tell me why?" And I was like, why what? I didn't know his heart. I said, well, tell me more about what you're talking about, and I will be happy to try. He said, I want to know why they do it. Why do the white people treat non-white people like crap? And it was like, my lips started quivering because I don't know. If I knew, he acted like it was a big secret that I was keeping and maybe I'll tell you later. And I don't know. It's no secret. I don't know why we do it. I mean, I have some ideas from history, but I don't know why. And it was the weirdest thing because he thought maybe I'm this nice white lady who will tell him the secret. There's no secret. I don't know why they do it. If there's a secret, I want to know too. So anyway, it was just I'm just trying to chat with some of my experiences. But yeah, females, yep. Nobody's off the hook. Like I always say, we're all born into this, but would you walk by, and this is a terrible analogy, but I don't know how else, I'm not like one of these brilliant people. This is kind of how would you walk by a person slowly drowning in a pool and be like, whatever, because you didn't build the pool? We didn't build the system. We were born into it. But you see something's really bad happening. Would you walk by and do nothing because you didn't shove them in? Of course not. Then why in the world would, as the people who are in power, would you allow yourself to do absolutely nothing to try to support your fellow humans in a nation that boasts liberty and justice for all? So I don't get it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I don't get it. But so don't ask me. I don't have the answers. Okay, let me stop. Get off my pedestal. Yes, white women are significant. They were slave owners. They have always been the right hand of white supremacy, and they have upheld the corrupt system the entire way. Absolutely. It's just historical. It's not bagging on anybody. I do not hate white people. I do not hate anybody. It's a system. Just to clarify, because, I get this hate mail you wouldn't believe. It's totally insane. It's really nasty too, but it's like, what are you going to do? Kitchen Politics, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. RGF Town 1, I know. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Gary, I'm a Caucasian male, and I never feared non-whites. I was raised to treat all the same. Always had non-white friends and family. Yeah, it's definitely not everybody, but unfortunately, when we talk about racism, we're talking about the system. And so I don't bother to say, and I know, Gary, you know this, you're like a pro. You could be teaching the class here. But it's like when I tell white folks, they're like, not all whites. Well, that's like, they're just not there yet. If you didn't do it, then don't count yourself in. If you're in a classroom and your teacher says, and I hate when they do this, but I was a teacher, so I made sure not to do this. Okay, if this class doesn't straighten up, some of you guys are this class is too noisy. It is too noisy, and you're going to get punished. Okay? And then people who aren't making noise, they know they're not making noise. They know they're not talking about them because they're not making noise. Okay? So people have to understand that. And when I talk about the system and you're a person who is not doing that, you've gone out of your way to educate yourself on anti-racism, anti-bigotry, and understanding the inequality in our finances and economy and life, then you're not included. So you don't have to feel bad. Okay, I just thought I'd throw that out there because it's a big thing. Yeah, Gary, absolutely. Everyone's raised differently. Unfortunately, I was raised in the era of color blindness. I cannot see color. And it's probably better than the era of overt, over-the-top racism. But in the era of color blindness, it's very disingenuous. Because, yes, we do see color. Don't be ridiculous. So it's kind of anyway, I won't get into that. But great point, Gary, and I appreciate it. Gary, there will be people, as you know, who don't fear non-white people. And they won't understand. It's probably rare, but they won't understand why people do. Like, they just won't get it. It's a rarity, but it happens. Implicit bias is alive and working in all of us, and not just for racism, for everything. But unfortunately, we have a culture of white supremacy. So let me take some more people. Yeah, Gary, it's the reason I don't know why they fear it. Let me make sure I didn't skip anybody. Oh, I did. Besh, individual white people who never fear non-whites are great, but the issue is not an individual issue. You stole my line. Yeah, it's a system. Of course, it's a system. And that's something that is really hard to get into the heads of a lot of people. They make it, and Gary, you're not doing this. I know you well enough to know, but a lot of folks who are very, very ignorant on the subject, they make it about them. It's not about individuals. The It's not about individual racism, which is what that's usually referred to. It's about a system that individuals support, but it's a system that was in place way before any of us were born. So we didn't do it. We choose to do nothing and uphold it, or make it worse, or do something and learn to talk about racism, bigotry, and inequality. Learn to talk about it, learn to get comfortable with it. I'll do a quick story and then I swear I will shut up. One of the weirdest things that ever happened to me that shows the depth of uncomfortableness in our society among white folks. I was pointing out a kid who is a Black child in kind of an all-white environment. And I kept saying, the little kid over there in the red. And the person was like, huh? And I said, the little girl, she's the Black little girl right there. And the lady flipped shit. She goes, oh, don't say that. Don't say that word. I'm like, oh, wow. It's not a dirty word. This is years ago. I was blown away. I go, she knows it's not, wow. So anyway, the depth is, just don't underestimate. If you're a white person, don't underestimate the depth of uncomfortableness and fear about talking about it, about thinking about it. I don't get it, but I kind of get it. And it's a continuum, and we've been enculturated into it. So I will just stop for a minute. Great points. Oh, Pat, your message got held. That means, something naughty maybe. I'm going to back up. Okay. It's hard to get some white people to see that they are benefiting from their racist system. Yeah. To be completely candid, Pat, this is just my opinion. I don't think it's a process like anything else, but a lot of us we just don't want to see it. The subconscious it's just like denial. And I don't know, the more, as you know, Pat, obviously, for white folks, it's a lifelong venture. We'll never get there. We will never know what it feels like to be a non-white in a society based on white supremacy. But it doesn't mean we don't try. It doesn't mean we just give up. It doesn't mean we don't care. And guess what? We're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. And I'm mortified. I'm like, oh my God, bury me in a hole and never come back. But then I say, guess what? It's not about you. But I'm talking to myself, that is. It's not about me. Suck it up, learn from it, and do better. We're going to make mistakes. And yes, there are going to be people who never trust us because we haven't earned it. It's part of, it's just part of the system. How many decades, how many centuries are people supposed to go until they just say, you know what, I don't trust you. If you're white, I don't trust you. And a lot of people do. And I always find that to be amazing that they actually do. And they haven't been jaded. But for people who are jaded, that's not my place. I don't know how I'd react. So let me get back to it. I know I'm skipping people and I apologize when the thing scrolls right up and I miss people. So if I miss you, give a holler and add yourself back in. And I promise I'll try harder. Let me see here. Yeah, people just don't want to a lot of times. Betch, it's great that you realize that. Let me see. I lost my spot again. Going back. I'm so sorry. This is kind of part of the system. I'm back. Betch, so many white people don't understand the issues with colorblindness. Yeah, it's a continuum. You got to just keep learning. And the more you learn, the more there is to learn. I learn something every day, whether it's from a friend who teaches me just something about their own personal opinion. And then it makes me kind of go, oh, and I kind of stick it in with all the other stuff and mix it up in my brain. Sorry, just kidding. But yeah, I learn something every day. Or whether it's an article that I'm like, my God, I've never heard of that. That's insane. And it takes a while to digest. It takes a while when I first teach white folks who don't, really, they're just now starting to see all this. And yes, it sounds crazy, but there are white folks, 50% of the white adults in America over time think we're in a post-racial era. And yes, you heard me correctly. And it's just unbelievable, but it's true. So you got to work with people where they're at. At least I do. That's what I try to do, work with people where they're at. Some people will never be reached. I don't get it. But let me see. Richard, what is his fear? So you're asking, what is the white male, your original question, what is the white male's fear? If I knew, I don't know. It's a great question. Can anyone watching who's a white male maybe kind of, expand on that? I don't know. It's ultimately very, very much against his or her better interest. See, that's part of the fallacy of racism. Systemic racism is terrible for white people. We just don't know it. It's all that it does is helps the elite 1% keep their place. Well, everyone else, we're doing the work for them. We are doing a favor, like I say in one of my videos. And the 1% white elites, thank you for our service. They do, because we're doing their dirty work for them. And instead of realizing we have an absolute common plight, and this nation and our world would be such a better place if we would just stop it. It's all made up. It's a fantasy. There's no supremacy. Give me a break. It's a total human construct. It's just enraging sometimes to even think about it. But Richard, I don't know. I don't know. But all I can say is I am having panels, and that is going to be one of the topics that we talk about. So maybe you'll be, I don't know if you like to be, on camera, but maybe you'll be someone who comes in and can speak to that, because I don't know. Justin, media teaches people blacks are a certain way and whites are a certain way. Propaganda. Great point, Justin. Absolutely. The propaganda is absolutely out of control. It's out of control. 3 out of every 4 people, and this again is held over time. We're more segregated than 64 right now, than before this. I mean, 3 out of 4 white folks in America do not have a single close friend who's not white. So how the hell would we know about systemic racism? We don't have a close friend that's not 3 out of 4. That's insane. So guess where we're getting our information from? Propaganda, the media. We're getting it from television shows and, 10, 15 years ago. And now we're getting it from what we see. It is part of being human to try to organize. Your mind tries to organize. It's evolutionary. We try to organize things. But when we're told from birth, and all this is thrown at us, like I say, when I was a little girl, I'll speak to my own. When I was a little girl, 2 or 3 years old, I used to sneak out of bed and come down, and I'd see my parents watching the 11 o'clock news. And all they ever had on that was a bunch of black people being arrested. Now, I'm old, I'm just saying. So they don't think they do that anymore. And I was 2 or 3 years old. I didn't know what I was seeing, but I know I saw black people, and I know that they had cuffs on them and that the police were taking them every stinking night. That's what does that make a little girl grow up to think? It's not that hard to influence people to be racist. It's really kind of easy. Driving by in California, I see maybe a neighborhood that has a lot of graffiti on it, and it looks like the infrastructure is really, really not well kept. I'm 5 years old. I just see that, and then I see a lot of black people and brown people. My parents don't have to tell me, be racist, they're bad guys. But maybe somebody walking by says, oh, that's a bad neighborhood, don't go that way. A bad neighborhood? The stuff is in the air. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to cause implicit bias, and we're secluded. And anyway, I am so blabbing. Do not hate me for this. Okay. Media, and it's in the air. Kim, we do see, this is Pat. Kim, we do see color, but it's how it's perceived. Absolutely. And the way I look at it and the way I've told the white folks that I work with is, yes, you do see color. And yes, you realize you have implicit bias. So guess what you do? You do everything in your power to say, I am going to fight my absolutely irrational fear. And I'm going to go the opposite way. And I'm going to fight my implicit bias and I'm going to fight my fears. And I'm going to do the opposite because I know my fears are absolutely ridiculous. And that's all white folks can do. But it takes kind of a while to get there. So, I mean, you have to really, and there's always more learning to be done. Always. And that's why I was explaining with the Michael Vick stuff. It's not my place to have an opinion. Sorry. It's not. It's just not my place. Okay. Let me go on. But great, Justin, thank you so much. And Pat, absolutely. It's how I tell people, you don't have to be perfect. Don't say you've never had a racist thought in your life. I mean, maybe these people have. Maybe they're in denial, or maybe they really haven't. That's not how they are. But you don't have to be perfect. You just have to care and fight the implicit bias and fight and figure out where all this stuff came from in your life. Figure it out. One of my videos, it's called All Whites Are Racist, and everyone goes crazy because it's like, oh, don't say that. I count implicit bias as the lowest form of racism. So sorry, but all whites are racist if you count implicit bias. So people go crazy at me, but it's like, if you watch the video, I will outline all the ways that I gained implicit bias with a family who never said a racial slur in their entire life. I was raised in the colorblind era. I've never heard my grandparents, my parents, but I have implicit bias. It's welcome to America. So anyway, if you watch that video, you're going to laugh because I tell it all. I probably got the most hatred on that one and the one that, no, I'm sorry, the Irish were not in chattel slavery. No, I got some like threats on that one, but okay. Gary, some find it hard not to be blinded by color. Absolutely. This is something we've been allowed to do for centuries. White folks, it's going to be a learning process and we're going to screw up. We already have tremendously. Tim, get some black friends, go to a barbecue. Honestly, Tim, that is the best freaking idea. When I was 23, I worked in Compton, California as a teacher. And I was constantly the only white person in the room, continuously. And yeah, I was raised in a very, very white environment, and it was a little weird at first. And then it got less weird and less weird and less weird. It's like there's a learning curve to it. We live in a society based on white supremacy. You're not just going to, this is not going to be easy. It's not a hobby. It's a lifestyle. If you dedicate yourself to this, it's a lifestyle. So there's going to be pain, I guess you could say. But great thing to say. I'm going to say RGF Town 1, 25. The first to come out was red, and his whole body was... I am so not understanding what you're saying, and I'm going to apologize. I'm not sure what you're saying. Oh my gosh, don't hate me for it. I really do not know what you're saying. Like what you're referencing. So call me an ignorant fool, but maybe you're going to have to tell me. Because I'm not sure what you're saying. Bej says, exactly, 100%, exactly, and that's understandable. Bej, we have to accept that, and we deal with it, and we have to earn Black people's trust. Absolutely. I'll tell you one thing right now. Every single new person that I meet, and because of what I'm doing, I've met thousands and thousands of non-white, whatever, people all have their own different names for what they feel comfortable being called. And every last one of them, I say to myself, I have to earn their trust, and I may never. And you know how you earn trust? Is by your behavior over time. Not by saying how not racist you are, not by saying all this or saying it's not about talk, it's about action. And the only thing that will ever earn trust is your behavior over time. And yes, it sucks. It really sucks sometimes. It's the way it goes. You know, there's nothing easy about this kind of thing. And there'll be people who, like, I wish they knew my heart. I wish they knew it. And they won't, and they never will. And they're never going to trust me. And that's on me. I just have to realize, you know, and it's very hard. It's, well, because it can be really hard. But you know what? It's not about me. It's not about me. So I have to just kind of chill. So there's a lot of like self-exploration you have to do. We have to earn Black people's trust. Bej couldn't say it better. Justin, yes, forefather. Justin, I know what you mean. I don't, maybe since you know what he means, can you teach me? Because I wasn't sure what. I believe it's a spiritual war between good and evil. Ah, there we are. Thank you. I am the least religious person on the freaking planet. And maybe you were referring to like biblical something. And I was like, huh? Like my eyes like a deer in headlights. I apologize. But I'm here to learn. I am here to learn. I am not here to just blab, although it might seem that way. Teach me more. I want to learn. Jamie, we are repeating history. I sent you the picture of the Mexican children in the camps and the electrical fences in Fort Bliss. Yeah, we are, you know, the saying people say, oh, you know, learn history so that we don't repeat it. Well, I think it's more than learn history because we are repeating it. And it's like the German pastor, Martin Niemöller, who became famous for the saying, first they came for the unionists, and I wasn't a unionist, so I did nothing. Next, they came for, you know, the Black people. I wasn't Black, so I did nothing. And then they came for me. And I'm not quoting him perfectly. He was a German pastor who very much fought off Hitler. And he regretted terribly that he and other academics sat and did nothing for too long. And then it was too late. So I read that when I was very little, and it really hit home. You don't stand there and do nothing when your fellow humans are being abused. It's just, but yeah, it's history is repeating, and I don't get it. He ended up going to prison, Hitler's special prison, because Hitler was pissed at him because, you know, he was an academic. And at first he was kind of like, oh, yeah, you know how Hitler came into power. It was, you know, slowly and gradually. Don't ever wonder how that happened, because you live in America right now. Don't ever wonder, because now we know. Sorry to be such a know-it-all, but let me see. I've scrolled up. Pat, the average white person is afraid if Blacks get into power that we will treat them like their people treated Blacks in slavery. That's the fear, but I don't think Blacks will do that, and I don't think so either. See, what I always say is, absolute great point. Thank you, Pat. Thank you. White folks are lucky that, for the most part, Black, brown, indigenous people, people of mixed heritage, people who are not Caucasian, they just want their equity. They don't want revenge. And sure, there'll be a few that do. But for the most part, I'm pretty sure they just want their civil rights and to have some respect. And we're lucky they don't want revenge in large numbers, because I don't know how many centuries a person has to go and have their family be tormented. It's a crime against humanity, the slavery, and after the ongoing systemic racism, in my mind, is a crime against humanity, an ongoing one. How many centuries do we wait until we just snap and can't? I don't know. I don't know. It's just kind of, I'm putting it out there. But absolutely, Pat. The origins of fear go back very far, but it's easy to delineate with time. Yeah, it's like, it's part of our culture now. It's a good point. Let me see, with enough time to talk about it. Okay, got that. Gary, it's a fear that he will be treated as badly as others as he's treated them. Right, exactly. Yep, that says 100% fantasy. Dawn, white men Führer. Am I saying that right? Fear, like Führer or something? White men fear, got it, thanks. White men, okay, no, it's okay. White men fear losing the priority they've enjoyed in this country from the beginning, period. Great point. Thank you. I'm like waiting for people to, absolutely. And sometimes that fear is just so internalized that they can't be spoken to. They're like, what, me? They're so defensive. It's, oh my God, it's terrifying. Women too, don't leave those white women out. I'm sorry, white women, I am not, so many people, oh, white women. No, white women have been instrumental in upholding and supporting the absolute system of horrific, barbaric racism. And you know what? The worst part of it is, of all the people we should know, because we're women, and women have had a really rough time in general, because feminism and equality and all that. So for God's sakes, we should know of all the things white women should know. Yet here we are. So I am all into the equal opportunity. And people always, I'll get tons of comments on this. Oh, you just hate white people. Oh, you're just guilty. And I'll say, you know what I'll say? I'm sorry, you've misinterpreted. I'm angry. I'm pissed. I don't feel guilty one bit. I didn't do anything. I'm angry that we live in a society where Black Americans' life expectancy is less than whites, in a country that boasts liberty and justice for all. I'm angry about all the, I'm not going to go on a rampage, although I already have. Yeah, great point, Dawn. Thank you. Whether it's, obvious to them or whether it's not, it's got to be fear of losing their priority, their status, their number one, I'm great for doing absolutely nothing but being born white. I always say, if the best thing you ever did in your life is be born white, I'm so sorry for you. And then people say, you hate white people. No, I don't hate white people. That's a cop-out excuse. I expect more. I expect us to act human. And acting human means we've been given the gift of thinking. It's a gift. We can think, we can fear something and not act on it. That's what differentiates us from animals. We can be really afraid and say to ourselves, that's kind of ridiculous. I'm going to be brave and figure this out. So that's why I say white folks need to act human, use their God-given humanity. That's what differentiates us. Yet we just go with the fear. So anyway, Dawn, you got me on a rampage. Sorry. Timmy. That's good, though. It's good. Okay. Timmy, we as Black people can't even turn on a TV without seeing white propaganda. I don't see people of color. Blindness is bullshit, and I am always Black. I always walk into a room, and with it, nobody wants to compete with. Let me read that one more time. I'm so sorry. I walk into a room with it, nobody wants to compete. Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't want to speak for you, Tim, although I kind of do. When you're a Black person, and I'm not speaking as, for Black people, but it's pretty obvious. You can't hide your Blackness. You are a Black person. And unless you are completely covered up and walking at Halloween or something, you have to deal with it every stinking day of your life. And it's not fair and it's not right. And somebody keeps calling me. I'm going to turn off my phone. Sorry. Yeah, and please elaborate, Tim, on that, because I don't want to speak the wrong words for you. And we got to start talking about Michael Vick. I'm going to read some stuff. Bez says that's right. Bez, sorry. Bez. And the news is deliberately designed that way. Absolutely. Russia doesn't have anything on us propaganda-wise. Well, maybe they do. They're good at it. But we are absolutely... I go on and on about some of my videos now. Let me see. Yeah, we really try to hang on to that Irish slave narrative. Yeah, I don't really get that, because in the videos I do, I say, what happened to the Irish people was horrible. Absolutely horrific, inhumane. But it wasn't the same as chattel slavery. Sorry. And people just cannot get that. I'm not saying, there's allowed to be more than one horrific historical event. But what we chose to do, I'm just talking about the United States and America, because the United States is enough for me to, was a choice, and it was markedly different than any other group ever in our country's history. So you cannot say it's the same. And when they do, it's defensiveness. It's ridiculous, actually, because there's been plenty of horrific events that have happened, but it's not chattel slavery. Sorry. Okay. Justin, he's talking about something biblical. Thank you. I knew it. Whenever I don't know what's going on, it's got to be from the Bible. Oh, I'm the worst. Pat, trust is earned. Pat, I'm spiritual, but not religious. Steve, no way. Steve. I have to tell everyone, Steve is my friend from college, and he is one of my absolute best buddies. And I can't believe you're here. Oh my God. Maybe if you're still here, because you probably wrote that comment a while ago. Steve, Justin Frank's comment about the ghettos reminded me of a great book called The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein. Steve is an incredible human being, and he is incredibly well read. And I've learned lots of big words from him. I'm just teasing, but he's an awesome, awesome person. Pat, you got that right. Not sure what you're referring to, but if it's to me, I'll be happy. Pat, it's nothing that we can turn off or, okay, gotcha, or take away. We'll be black till the day we die. Pat, there's nothing in the history of the world that is worse than slavery. Right, exactly. And when people try to compare it, I'm sorry, it's ludicrous. I'm not talking about individual cases, a system. It's got its own category. And I'm sorry, that's just, yeah, it's an insult. It doesn't mean other people didn't have things bad. That's why white privilege is a whole big thing with white folks who just, they don't get it. It's a word from academia. It's not saying, oh, you're white, you have a great life. It's not saying you're rich. It's not saying you don't have problems. It's saying that being white is an unearned privilege, okay? That you get the benefit of the doubt most of the time. Not everybody, but as a system, yeah, we do. It's true. So people just need to learn, and, you know, not everyone learns the same way. Michael Vick, let me talk about him for a minute. Now, remember, I don't have a real opinion on this. I don't know, but I want yours. So I'm going to read a little bit about what really happened for people who don't know, and then read about what he's done. And I want you to tell me what you think. Okay? So Michael Vick, and I'll kind of rattle through this. NFL player who was arrested and served time for running a dog fighting ring and doing other things, not just running a dog fighting ring. But a lot of people don't know the depth of what happened. There's a 17-page report prepared by the USDA's Inspector General. I do not get that, but maybe someone will tell me why. It was them. Maybe it's animal. I guess I didn't realize that they were part of that. Investigations Division provided some details about the dogfighting operation that Vick financed and actively participated in. The details are gory, but like we talked about earlier, details matter. They matter about somebody's crime, and they matter about somebody's repentance and afterwards. Details matter. The USDA's report that was put out on his activities in 2007 said Vick and his two friends hung approximately 3 dogs who did not perform well in fights. They hung them on trees and killed them. They drowned approximately 3 dogs by placing their heads in 5-gallon buckets of water. I'm not happy to tell you these details, but if you're going to make an opinion, on someone else's life and blab it all over the place, you damn well better know the facts. Okay? Not just the facts of what he did, but the facts of what he's done since. And I'm going to get into that too. Okay? So, one reason Vick got more jail time than his friends was because he initially had lied about his involvement in the killings and admitted his involvement only after failing a polygraph test. So how did Michael Vick's crime lead to positive, more humane changes for the plight of abused animals? Because it did. And there's article after article saying, and speaking of this, Michael Vick was a famous man and is a famous man, and that brought the subject into the homes of millions of people who maybe don't follow football, don't follow animals, and it brought it into their living rooms, and not just into like dog lovers circles. It made national news. Now, again, details matter. Historically, PETA, which stands for the People of Ethical Treatment for Animals, and the Humane Society have historically believed that abused dogs need to be killed, euthanized, because it's over. They're done. They're mentally disturbed or whatever. These organizations hold a longstanding belief that the emotional trauma a dog suffered is a done deal and they can't overcome it. So most dogs historically are euthanized. And that's just like messed up. Pit bulls especially the breed faces incredible discrimination. The publicity that in Vick's case caught the attention of a group called Bad Rap, getting a bad rap. And this organization works individually with dogs seized from fights or abusive environments. And Bad Rap was an early voice at the time, this is 12 years ago, in advocating for the rehabilitation of abused animals. And this organization was instrumental in rehabbing and placing the dogs in forever homes who were abused at Michael Vick's place. Tougher laws about dog abuse and a huge push towards rehabilitation instead of euthanizing has taken place and is credited for a famous person, Michael Vick, having gotten the attention. And it doesn't mean, it is what it is. He did a bad thing. But in Vick's case, according to the Washington Post, 12 years ago, 47 of the dogs were rescued and from the dogfighting operation, and they were allowed to live, and they were placed in homes, and they've enriched the lives of countless people. And this has also altered the course of animal welfare. And why am I telling you this? That something decent came out of a horrific thing? Because I'm trying to be honest and speak the truth. You can't understand something if you're just lying to yourself and taking one side of it. So, Michael Vick entered a guilty plea in 2007, said he regretted his actions, and he ended up becoming somewhat of an advocate for stronger laws for animal cruelty. Michael Vick served his 18 months for his role in the dogfighting operation and the murder of, blatant murder of animals, which he admitted to. So why am I talking about him? Because there are petitions right now going around trying to say that he shouldn't get the position that he gets. And that's the next topic we're going to talk about what you think. He served his time. He gave a lot of money. He went bankrupt. He's sorry. Okay. No one knows if he's really sorry but him. But his behavior is such as a person who's sorry. Now remember, I'm not saying one way or another, but there's a lot of issues surrounding, like we talked about earlier, about white folks giving their opinion about what should happen to a person who is formerly incarcerated, who's a Black person. And let me tell you, there's a lot of hypocritical stuff going on. So I'm going to read some comments, and then I'm going to get into the next part of the conversation, which is hopefully people will tell me what they think. Let me see. I'm backing it up. Mushman Pete's. You're right on all fronts, so keep up the honest, truthful, good work. Thank you. I try, and you know what? Mushman, I make mistakes. And I got to just own up to them, and I've been doing this for a while, but I still make mistakes, and I probably will continue to. But that's how I'm learning, and that's how we learn. Thank you very much. That's a really nice compliment. Pat. No other people worked like they did the slaves. Slaves were worked so hard, their muscles had separated from their bones. And I'll explain that. No other humans ever worked like that. In fact, they thought Blacks, let me go back, were inhumane, not human at all. Yep. Yeah, I found it. Thank you. I hate that they cut you off after a certain amount of characters. What Pat is referring to, if you don't mind me jumping in, is a more modern study that actually took grave sites of people who were humans who were formerly enslaved, and they did a study and looked at their structure, and the result of scientists of what they believed, that they were worked to death. Literally, I don't know how else to put it. They were worked to death. And that's a more modern study that was conducted by scientists. So I believe, I'm just guessing that's what you're referencing. Yeah, and so when people propagate this sick stereotype of a lazy Black person, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Seriously. Like, it's unbelievable. But there's a lot that's unbelievable about systemic racism. Okay, I'm going to, Richard. To me, it's not about seeing color. It's about being trained from a child to have a negative spirit, wanting to please those around them. That's Richard. Okay. And that's probably, I mean, I think it's a really complex issue. It's probably what you're saying. Pat. Oh, no. I already read yours, Pat. Sorry. I am so bad at this. Okay. Mushroom Pea. But the Irish turned around and did the same thing, even worse to black race, like claimed was done to their own white brothers. Yeah, that's why a lot of times when people like talk about white men, I say, don't you exclude women, because we of all people, and one of my videos kind of goes off on that. Some of my videos are rants. They're like just rants. They're not sweet, darling. Some of them are educational, proper educational, and some are somewhere in between. And not everything is for everybody. And I know I probably turn off a lot of people, but you know, there's something for everybody. I'll say that much. I actually pulled one of my worst rants I ever did because I thought it was just like over the top. Maybe I'll put it back on sometime. But I was like, when I read it, I looked back at it, I was like, oh my God, I went crazy. But it was, wow. Okay, enough about that. Yes. Mushman, I don't get it. And there's just so many differences between the Irish thing and there's no comparison. None. You know? Okay, I'll just say one thing. You can drop your accent. You can change your name. Yeah, it's not pleasant. It's not good, but you can. You can walk around, not say anything. You can put on someone else's nice clothes. It's not the same. When you are a Black person, a brown person, a non-white person, whatever that really means, you're that person always. And you can't pretend you're not. And I'm not, and again, I'm not saying other people didn't have bad things happen, but no comparison. So none, sorry. RF Lone One. I know it's hard for people to see, but the hate Caucasians have for so-called Black people is part of spiritual war. Yeah. I'm interested in what you have to say. It's just so complicated. It's just so complicated. I don't know, but I believe that. I mean, I believe it, that it is kind of hard. I don't and never will hold dogs up to the same esteem as humans, especially me as a Black man. Never. A dog is a damn dog, period. Yep. Mm-hmm. And you know what's the kind of crazy thing about it is we can multitask. We can be good to animals and be good to our fellow humans. It's not an and or. When we do see this loving outpour for animals, which people should do, it's probably sickening when we see these same people treating our fellow humans that have more melanation, I'm making up words tonight, like a piece of shit, worse than an animal. And the comparison is what is just overwhelmingly just, it's sick. It's inhumane. That is what's sick. We have enough. It's not like, well, if we're nice to you, we have to be, it's like a mom with her kids. Like, I have enough love for all my children and then plenty for a lot of other people too. And that's equality and equity. If I take your equality away, it doesn't give me more. It doesn't work that way. We will all benefit when equity and liberty and justice for all is really for everybody. And that's all I got to say. But Mushman, that makes sense. Makes sense. So, Michael Vick. There's a thing going on, and it's part of our culture that, we have mass incarceration. We have kids being sent, kicked out of school more often. There are kids being put in lower classes. If you are a brown, black, indigenous, mixed heritage person, Hebrew, Israelite, there's implicit bias in the air. It's in every system in this nation. And it has its toll. And Ghost Killa, hello. Thank you for being here. Moppy, I'm happy to see you. Sorry, I had to jump in there. But here's the thing, and this is what I'm hearing, and I want to know what you think on this topic. People are they're heartbroken for the dogs, and I am too. But when you compare the same folks who don't know their own racial history, they think, we had a black president. Wow. There's no racism. It's like, oh my God. They think, oh, Black Lives Matter. It's a terrorist organization. I had a woman say that right to my face. And I honestly had trouble not laughing in her freaking face. I was kind of shocked. That was in real life, not online. It's got to be enraging that people will put their heart out for an animal. But yet what's happening to black people, brown people, I'm going to, say it again. They don't even see it. So, it is disgusting that someone like me can come on and talk about systemic racism and have people go, oh, yeah. And when a black, brown, indigenous, Hebrew, Israelite, African-American person comes on and says something, they go, Somebody who's living it their entire life in this society, who's lived it, I would be enraged. That would be enough to make me snap. That's disgusting. A person living it, they have to have someone back them up. The whole thing is such bullshit. We're living such a lie. It's not even funny. But anyway, yeah, it's enraging. That is why part of what I do is read people's, try to help empower people who might not have a voice. And they absolutely deserve to have a voice. That's part of what every white person should be doing, is supporting, not leading, not being some hero and getting their picture on Facebook, but supporting our fellow humans because they deserve equity and liberty and justice for all, just like everybody else. Boy, I am ranting. Let me take some more. Yeah, Kim, Weinstein got off. OHAS, systems of corruption rules the land. Weinstein, he got off to the point where if you read in depth, again, we're into details. I read in depth about him. He was, obviously he killed himself. But if you read about what he did and how he was, put in prison, oh my God, you will not believe what he did and got away with it. He got away with it. His jail time was spending time in his luxury office. I won't get into it, but yeah, he got away with it. He got away with it. Totally disgusting. No, there's no liberty and justice for all. Our supposed system of a criminal justice system, it's a joke. And it's perfectly purposeful. It's purposeful. We know how to stop bad things from happening. We just don't want to. And I say we collectively as white folks in power. We just don't want to. Because if we did, we'd be doing it. And it would have been done. Yeah, great point, Anton. Great point. Mr. Westbrook, the Irish, just like the Italians and the Jewish among many others who came to America, assimilated and all became simply recognized as white. There's no assimilation for great point, Mr. F.S. Black. Thank you. And hello, by the way. Thank you for being here. Absolutely. You cannot assimilate when it is who you are. Okay. And yes, it's a horrible thing for a Jewish person to not have to feel like they can talk about their religion. But I'm sorry, it's a different thing. You can pretend you're not. And you shouldn't have to, but you can. And here's the thing. As a white person talking about this, I can quit anytime I want. I can say, racism? I don't feel like doing racism today. I don't feel like talking about it. I want a break. And I can take a break. You're living it. You can't. Even in your own freaking house, as we've seen over and over again. You can't take a break. And that's not fair. So, sorry I'm getting all serious. Like, I don't want to scare people, but it's not right. Thank you, Mr. FS Black. Thank you. Pat, the average white person knows what is going on, but they choose not to say anything about it. Yeah, I don't know, because I don't know, like, it's like there's so many, I don't know if they'd lie and say they didn't know, or I don't know. Honestly, a lot of people are oblivious, but it's not an excuse. We live in an era of incredible communication technology. If you don't catch on to something bad is going on here, then you don't want to. Because I'm sorry, there's a certain point which it's the only good thing Trump's done is he's brought the real culture of this nation out naked in front of everybody. And it's disgusting. But that's the only thing is you can't pretend you don't know. You can, but you're full of shit. You know. Okay, sorry, just my opinion. Right. Pat, and I get that. I don't, you're probably right. I don't know. RGF Town 1. And although it looks like Esau will win, the Bible says Jake, I can't even pronounce the name. See how bad I am with religion? Will come out victorious. So you know religion and you know the Bible. See, I don't. So you must know, like you think you know what's going to happen. I don't know. Really, really sad. I do know that this Democratic Republic's going down. The wealthiest elites have taken over, and they can thank the racist masses for never uniting with people in numerical, historically marginalized groups against them. We're doing their dirty work for them, like I said. So I just want to quickly thank everybody so much for being here tonight. At some point, if I ever get enough, like, I guess, views and stuff like that, I will make this phone call in, because I would love for your voice to actually be the voice blabbing more than mine. Let me just see. Dave, thank you so much for being here. Yay. Just take a look at I'm thrilled you're here. Dave's my friend in real life. Okay, just take a look at not real life, he lives near me. Nice, huh? Everyone else is my fake friend. I hope you know what I meant. Just take a look at the Fort Worth Police Department. In the same year, a black man in his own house is shot and killed. Yeah, there's example after example after example. It's study after study. It's nobody can. Somebody is calling me in the middle of this, and people always do that too. Okay, I can't pick up. I'm doing a live show with people. A few months later, an African-American grandmother gets shot and killed while playing a game. Yeah, it's insane. Only a liar would dispute those kind of things of what's really going on. It's dangerous to be a non-white person in this country. And that's just so fucked up. I'm sorry. It is. Ghost Killer. I hate how racist people use MLK's name against black people. Tell me more. I know, right. It's like the only quote they know, so they like use it and like, I guess, but tell me more, elaborate on that if you would, because I'm sure you have something in mind. And Dave, in the same city, yeah. Jacob will win. Is that a good thing? Okay, so yeah, that's how bad I do not know religion. Dave, interesting show tonight. Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much. Pat, Jane Elliott proved that. I'm a huge Jane Elliott fan. She opened up my life when I was 18. I learned all about her and was like, whew, I'm not crazy, but maybe I'm crazy, but not for this, because she's the first white person that I ever saw explain to me what the hell's going on. And it was just very, very, I love her. I'm scared of her. She's terrifying, but you know what? She does experiential learning. And I actually formulated a 4.5-hour seminar on all experiential learning. And it's not like her blue eyes, brown eyes thing. Not even, but it's very close, but with a different, she calls them out. She tells them like it is, and she lets them live. Oh, if just for one short second, what it would be like, just for a second, to not be, the supreme one. And it's mind-boggling because it is so entrenched in our culture. And people cry, and you know what? There's a certain sector of the population who has to get a taste of it before they can't learn vicariously. And I know it sounds cruel, but you know what? It's been centuries. Something has to give. And I'll tell you, even she, with her boldness, hasn't made look where we are. Hello, Trump and Klan. This nation's never dealt with our sick love affair with the white supremacy. And until we admit it and face it, we're never going to be able to fix it. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's crazy. Mr. F.S. Black. Some white Americans are truly clueless to what's going on because it often is swept under the rug. Absolutely. Others choose to remain willfully ignorant so that they can maintain their comfort. Mr. F.S. Black. Absolutely. I mean, I think there's probably a gazillion reasons. I can't even name them all. But yeah, Pat, she calls them out. She scares me. If the segment is on her, I pride myself. I've seen everything she's done. I think I've seen everything she's done, but if on something else, I'm not sure, because I'll check though. Thank you, Pat. So here's what's going on with Michael Vick. Okay. So his name came back in the spotlight because over 500, let me just see if I back up. Yeah. Over 500 people signed a change.org petitioning, demanding that the NFL remove Michael Vick as honorary Pro Bowl captain. That's going to be happening in late January. Garrick, hello. I figured if I talk long enough, you'd make it here. This is where to start to take control of the topic of race and stop calling it a card as calling it that as a deflection. Race is a serious reality, and the more we discuss this, the we can move forward. Thank you, Garrick. Awesome. Susan, hello. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And Garrick, thank you so much. That is a absolutely understandable, great point. And that's the number one reason I do this. I'm not the most knowledgeable person in the world. I don't have a PhD in this subject, but I'm a white person, and so help me God, I'm not going to stand and watch it. I'm going to do something. And if one person sees a white person talking about race and it makes them go, well, she lived through that. Then I've done my job, because I am not going to just do nothing when this is happening. I can't. It's just life's not supposed to be this way. Susan, thank you so much for being here. Jump in anytime. Mushman, Abe Sacramento, you rock. Keep up the work. Good work. I'm a Black agnostic man. I have no care for religion, period. You know what? Thank you so much for the nice compliment. I have one of my friends that I've kind of fallen out of touch with, runs a site for agnostic folks. And he happens to be a Black man as well. And I actually did one of my first interviews. I was using him as a guinea pig. I'd never done an interview before. And he was so sweet. And he let me do an interview on him. And it was really cool. And he's like he'll always be like a special person in my life because he runs a group he helps run a group that it's very, very hard sometimes with strong religious base for non-white people and for white people too, but it's really tough to be an agnostic in that situation. And I can't speak for anybody, but just from what he's taught me, it's not the easiest thing. So I would definitely thank you so much for being here. I wanted to jump in. If you are watching me for the first time, please consider supporting me by joining my YouTube channel. It's free. When I say joining, subscribing, you don't have to pay. It's free. Look at my videos. If you come up with something that you have to talk about all the time to people and you're sick of it, use my video. Just throw it at them, you know, or ask me and I'll give it to them so it doesn't have to come from you. I'll do whatever it takes to help educate people, whatever it takes. Okay. Thank you, Mushman. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Costello. They say MLK would be ashamed of the black race if he were here a lot. Do they really? Unstinking believable. How in the hell would they know? Yeah, right, because MLK got assassinated for being peaceful. Yeah, and you know what? Malcolm X warned us about this. Yeah. Great points, Ghost Killer. Great points. And part of the thing I always bring up, at least every year, if not more, is Martin Luther King did not give his life to the cause. His life was taken. He was murdered. He did not give it. And a lot of folks seem to not get that words matter. Like, for example, people from Africa were not slaves that were brought over. They were humans that were brought over. They were forced into an enslaved status. They were humans that were kidnapped and brought. They were not slaves. They were people living in a society. And that's huge to me. Let me see here. Sorry, I'm like on a soapbox here. The reason I don't delete my Facebook is exactly to use my voice. Otherwise, Facebook is so toxic. Oh my God, totally. It's the place to go for fake information that's not researched, for people to lie. Yeah, absolutely. Great point. Thank you, Susan. Susan, I saw that today. Appalling. Lindsey Graham had the audacity to compare the Cheeto to oh God, that's just like, sometimes you just want to like, okay, you guys have to tell me if this is true. Have you ever heard things, if you're a white person, have you ever heard things that just make you embarrassed to be part of the human race? Okay. So it's kind of like, just like, oh my God, I'm the same race as those sickos. It's like, I know that's a terrible thing to say, but I'm just saying, when I see white folks, it's like embarrassing themselves, like when I see Trump doing, I just think, oh my God, I don't get it. But anyway, great point, Susan. Thank you. RGF Town 1. The anger behind Michael Vick is racism. It has nothing to do with animals. Thank you. This is what I need. Thank you. Gary. Susan, that is just evil. Consider the source. Susan, I think that's where the recent MLK spin is coming from. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm not sure, but possibly. Yeah. Gotcha. Fox News. Democrats killed MLK. Yeah. And those Democrats were conservatives to Fox. Fox News is it's disgusting. It's completely full of shit. It's unbelievable. There are a few people who choose to tell the truth once in a while, and that they work for Fox News just, in my mind, makes it like too little too late. It's a propaganda machine. It's the president's state-run media. And then sometimes it's not, but then it goes back. It's just, yeah. But anyway, so I cannot thank you guys for having a great, adding comments, and this is totally awesome. I have a question. So what's up with what's your opinion on what does a person, okay, there's these petitions. One has 90,000 signatures urging sponsors to back out of the Pro Bowl unless they drop Michael Vick. According to the CNN and other news sources, Michael Vick is going back to the NFL Pro Bowl, this time as one of the 4 NFL legend Pro Bowl captains. But if fans had it their way, the ex-quarterback will lose his chance to be a mentor player and be on the sidelines again. So here's the controversy. At what point does a person get forgiven? Not forgotten, but allowed to move on with their life. And I'm talking about him, not just him, with mass incarceration. Do you realize many states have it? So you have to put it on you're done for life. You're not going to get a good job. I mean, it just, and with the society, the way it is with such blatant systemic racism, this is destroying people. I don't know, I have a lot of issues with the whole system to begin with, but, or maybe, do we forgive? Are these people allowed to come back and have another chance? Many people believe that Black folks are asked to forgive all the time and forget, yet these are the same folks that are rarely given or allowed to move on. And that's where the big controversy comes in. The double standard is devastating. I want to know what you think. So please let me know what you think. Gary, Trump is the MLK for white supremacists. That's a good analogy, but we know he's evil and MLK was good. They have been comparing him for a while to pretend he isn't racist. I have not really caught on to that. Have you really? That's just freaking disgusting. It's like, I can't imagine. It's, you know what? I feel like with Trump, we live in, hi, Michael. Thank you. Yes, it is. I feel like we live in kind of like, I want to say, what are the color of the skies in your world? We live in like, we're living in opposite day. Every day is opposite day. Psychologically, Trump is saying the things, he's talking about himself. He calls other people this, and he's talking about himself. I mean, he's mentally ill. I'm sorry. I am not a psychiatrist, but for the love of God, I don't think you need to have a third grade education to realize the man has a personality disorder. Something's wrong with him. He's depraved. Something's very wrong with him. Like I need to say that. Susan, that was the comparison Graham made today. Completely insane. Thank you. I missed. See, that's part of the thing. I was looking at all the other news and I was not watching that today, so I missed it. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, Graham, don't even get me started on him. I mean, my God. He's lying to himself. He's contradicting himself. It's just, I don't want to go there. But so here's what happened. Michael Vick served 18 months in federal prison for participating in a dogfighting ring that he paid for, and he murdered dogs. He watched and murdered dogs. Okay, like I said earlier, he hung some and he drowned some with his bare hands. He was suspended by the NFL and filed bankruptcy, but was reinstated in 2009. And a former Philadelphia Eagles coach, Andy Reid, tasked with the overseeing of reintroducing him into the league. He also played for the New York Jets, and I'm going on and on. But I guess he's an analyst, or I don't know if he still is, for the NFL Fox Sports. Interesting. But on the other hand, over the years, he's worked to put his past behind him. He served his time. He's become somewhat of a animal rights activist, I guess, working with the Humane Society. And because of his fame, although it was kind of circumstantial, a lot has changed for the plight of abused animals. There's been a huge push for no-kill shelters. I'm not saying just because of him, but it's been in the makings. And a huge push for maybe animals who are abused should not be euthanized immediately and given no chance. And I mean, that to me is like ludicrous. You do it on an individual basis. That's sick to just do that. But that's what we've been doing. If you're an abused animal, they kill you. It's nice. You're like, excuse me, I was abused. Then they kill you. That's just so messed up. But Ghost Killer. I'm talking about the Africans sold Africans, your people sold out thing, because it's BS. I've done some research on it. Yeah, people, it's just an excuse. It is. If you look, one of the first videos I ever did, Ghost Killer, is a video on the top 12 classic cliche racist denials. racist denials that people say, and that's in there. It is, and it just goes boom, 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 and I just rattle them off, because if you're a white person and you do nothing else but learn the classic cliche, lies and denials of denying systemic racism in America with all those excuses, all you have to do is learn those, so that when you're walking around and somebody spews some of that total BS, you know what to respectfully tell them. And if you do that as a white person, you've done a gazillion times more than most, 99.9, So this doesn't mean you have to spend your whole life researching this. You need to learn the truth. We do. If we're ever going to get this country together, we need to learn our real racial history. That's the point. That's it. But yeah, when people say that, that's laughable. But laughable because it's, instead of crying, it's just ridiculous. Excuses. Richard, racism is the foundation of America, and the question is why? What is the white male afraid of? You're asking great questions. I don't know. I think it's very complicated. I think, it's just so complicated. There's guilt, there's our culture, there's just so much. Great questions. I don't know. Gary, he paid for his crime and is making amends better than a lot of white players have when they were caught. Great point. Great point. So this is a quote from him. Okay. I just try to make it right. I just try to make it right after going through what I went through, after what transpired. Vick said in 2015, the best thing I can do was make amends for what I did. I can't take it back. The only thing I can do is influence the masses of kids from going down that same road I went down. That's why I work with the Humane Society and affecting a lot of kids' lives there and saving a lot of animals. We've had, there's been a lot of progress from what he's done. He said, we've had a lot of progress. We've been able to change some laws and do some great things, and I'm very proud of that. I never thought I'd be doing that. So, I don't know what you guys think, but people can learn. They can change. I don't know if he has. It sounds like he has. That's between him, himself, and his God or whatever. We'll never know. But my question is, at what point do we allow people to come back and assimilate into society and let them live? Not forget about it, but let them have a chance. I don't know. You tell me. Oop. Susan. Dinesh D'Souza is the Republican documentary filmmaker who promoted the narrative about the KKK being Democrats, initially and produced a lot of spin media used as narrative nightmare fueled by Fox. Wow. I've heard of that, but I didn't know the name. Thank you. It's really unbelievable. The fairness doctrine is gone a long time ago. And I think that was a mistake, a big mistake. It went out during the Reagan era, and the people who tell, the news, they have no obligation to be truthful. None. They do not have to be truthful. And I think a lot of people don't get that, or they don't want to get that. So that's a toughie bit. Thank you, Susan. That's an awesome addition. Ghost Killa. Before the Europeans came to Africa, African people didn't label themselves as Black. Absolutely, right. We were usually went by our tribe's name, or many Africans didn't see themselves as the same because their tribes were right. This is a lot of, history is written by the winner, and we all know that. And history is also deleted by the winner. And we need to know that. It's really, really true. So jump in anytime if you want to say something about Michael Vick. If your tribe is defeated, you become a prisoner of war to the tribe that defeated yours. Yeah, I've heard of that kind of thing. I have not studied in depth, so I can't speak to it, but yeah. I had a lot to learn. And I love that people who are my friends viewing and watching are so supportive and teach me. I learn every day. People send me cutting edge stuff and I learn. I spend like my whole day. It's so crazy. And I can't keep up with my messages. And a lot of people get hurt by it. And I'm like, I have like 100 messages a day. But there's nothing I'd rather be doing. I wanted to jump in for a moment and please tell me what you think about your opinion about Michael Vick and what's going on with these petitions. It's very easy to be a person who's never had a close friend who's not white to sign a petition and say he doesn't deserve to have any life now. Really easy to say from a pedestal of white supremacy. And I'm not saying everyone on there is white. I don't know. How would I know? But we have enough love in our hearts to be good to animals and be good to our brothers and sisters who are Black, brown, indigenous, of mixed heritage, Israelites, Hebrew, African American. We were made to have enough love. It's not a competition. So people who love animals over humans, that's messed up. Anyway, I was going to go on just a little bit longer tonight. Anyone who's here right now listening, I wanted to remind you, I am extremely thankful for all the support with the show. I do this show every Wednesday at 9 Eastern. It's always on different topics. You can bring up topics that you want. And if I don't know about them, bring it on. If you make a mistake, people in the viewers will tell you. And everyone's just amazing. They do it every day, Kim. Yeah, Pat. What I wanted to say was I'm very, very excited about getting folks to take part in the panel discussions that I'm going to be having starting January 8th, as I keep saying over and over. They're for everybody. They're for everybody. They're not just for like PhDs and, you know, now we're getting some comments here. Let me see. Gary goes, that was how most people were before Christianity was Europeanized, even non-Christian Europe. Ronald, Michael Vick has paid his so-called debt to society. Thank you for that opinion. Thank you. And you know what? I think that's how it's going to go down too, because the NFL does what the hell they want, as we all know. And I'm not saying they're right or wrong in any situation, but I don't think they're going to acquiesce to petitions. Personally, maybe they will. Pat, yes, I will. Does that mean you're going, Pat? Does that mean it's getting late? Go sell it. But Ronald, thank you. I want to know what you think. If you're not definitive, then obviously don't say anything. But if you have a serious point, don't be shy. It's not my place to say. I see both sides. I get it as much as a white person could. I get it. I don't have an opinion on that because it's not my place. Goskela, some of these people that were on the slave boats were prisoners of war. Remember, the Romans defeated the Greeks. The Greeks became prisoners of war to the Romans. Nobody calls that white on white crime. Yeah, white on white crime. Don't even. Oh, good, you're staying, Pat. Thank you. Hosea Paradise, hello. Thank you for being here. Great point that you're making, Goskela. I am not that great with history, but I have kind of a general understanding. But yeah, there's no such thing as black on black crime is kind of what there's no such thing. People do crimes. White people do them, black people do them. People do them in their neighborhoods. We're a segregated society. It is very likely you will be doing a crime to someone who looks like you. Those are just the facts. And the whole black on black crime thing is just another, and I'm just saying this because the show is also, geared towards people who are beginners with this. So that's why I'm kind of like jumping in with this very obvious, for everybody probably listening. But So black on black crime is a fallacy. The percentages are extremely close. And the reason people use that is because it's just another way to distract from the truth, is that we live in a society that has a sick love affair with white supremacy. It's really sick. Ghost Kelp. Oh, Pat, no, not yet. I got that. Because going to war with people around those times was like a regular thing. Pat, that behavior is taught and learned behavior. Absolutely. In fact, this week I put up a video, or no, it was last week. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. Put up a video about questioning, when does it change? Where does it turn? You see little preschoolers playing with everybody. They don't know what color you are. They don't give a shit what color you are. They just want to play. And then something happens. I guess it's called socialization. Something happens. And it's a really, really crazy thing. Because we're young and we're playing with everybody. And we realize they're humans, just like us. And then we're slowly socialized to think otherwise. But in the back of our minds, we played with everybody. And so it's such a weird, strange, it's strange. But I want to quickly go into, I know it's getting to be bedtime for a lot of people on the East Coast. And I will be really fast with this. The death of Carlos Vasquez. They sent the tapes out of the young boy, young man, teenager, who died of the flu. The tapes were released this week to the public, showing this young man, 16, I believe he was 16, 17. He died while in a migration camp. He died of the flu alone with no adult help, no one to do anything for him. He laid there, suffered, and died of the flu. Perfectly healthy, normal boy. I watched the tape over and over. I cried. I have a boy that age. And when people think of getting the flu, okay, and this is really, a hard thing to think about. And I'm sure people are like, be quiet already, But like I said, that's what this show is for, to speak the truth. And this child died alone with no help. And I saw the video, and they simply left him to die. This video contradicts the reports that were done by the authorities. It contradicts the patrol lied. Lied in the report, and they said they found him. They didn't find him. The video shows they did not find him. They didn't find him. And they say they checked on him 3 times, and he was passed out the whole time, dying. According to the Houston ABC News Channel 7, a flu-ridden 16-year-old from Guatemala was writhing in agony inside a U.S. Border Patrol cell and collapsed to the ground, where he lay for hours before he was found dead by the cellmate who was sleeping. There are things that are unanswered. This child was somebody's baby. And I put a video up on it, and I showed the parents. He had a mom and a dad and a family who loved him. And whoever incarcerated him for the gall of wanting to seek asylum from a nation that we helped destabilize. Details kind of matter. The video shows a sudden stop. For 4 hours, it goes black. What the hell? How convenient that is. For 4 hours, the video surveillance stops. Records show that the agents supposedly checked in on him 3 times in the next 4 hours. But he was lying in the same spot, not moving in the video. They're full of shit. There's no explanation for the gap in the video, and the boy was in the same position. He was blacked out. He was supposed to go to the hospital in 2 hours if he wasn't better, and they left him to die. Okay? And I'm sorry, they let this kid die. We let this kid die. And why do I say we? Because we are allowing it. If we didn't want, and I'm saying we as a group, as a culture, if we didn't want people who seek asylum under Trump's insanity to be imprisoned and have their children ripped from their arms, we wouldn't stand for it. We're allowing it. Not everybody, but enough of us are. It's a group thing. Let me see. Richard, white or black, you don't destroy a dog by making them fight. And if a person does that and people find out about it, what the hell do people think is going to happen? Point well taken. Thank you. This is what I'm looking for. People who have definitive things to say. Because I saw Facebook and people had a lot to say. Thank you for your opinion. Gus Caleb, peace, gotta go. Thank you so much, Mafi, for being here. Susan, so where do we stop the false equivalence when we hear people say the blame lies on the parents? Do you mean for racism or for animal abuse or for what? Because parents are really easy to blame. You know, people forget that kids come out the way they are. And I'm sorry, we do not have as much control as we think we do. You know, you kind of come out how you are, and we can shape them and we can do this and that, but blaming the parents is an easy cop out. Not all kids are created equal. Some kids are easy and some are living hell. Some parents are great and some parents aren't. And most of us are somewhere in between. So if you can, following a thread about border separation of children. Gotcha. Sorry, I'm like everywhere. That is obnoxious and unconscionable. That's what, when people say that to me, it's kind of like saying, well, Black people should pick themselves up by the bootstraps. It's a crock of shit is what it is. Their parents came over. See, this person who's speaking ahistorically, a person who says that is speaking ahistorically. They do not understand something called responsibility. Exactly how bad would it be for you as a parent, not you, I'm not talking about you, Susan, everybody, as a parent, to take your child and your family, leave everything you've ever known, and walk 3,000 miles to a country that you have never been to, because going there is better than staying and being killed where you are. We participated in the destabilization of these nations, okay? And then we dumped them. And the Trump administration has done, it's a crime against humanity. And so help me God, I hope he pays for what he's done. Ripping children out of their parents' arms. They love their children so much. They took their children out of danger and they said, I'm going to take you away. Think about your kid. If our nation turns like that, which I'm telling you, I wouldn't put it past what's going on now. Trump wants to be king. Who in this country wouldn't do that for their own child? And if they say they wouldn't, they're lying. There is nothing you won't do for your child. These parents love their children enough to do the unthinkable. Stop their life and try to save them. And what we did, when people say it's the parents' fault, that is the most ahistorical, obnoxious, sorry, Susan, I'm going off on you personally. It just shows the absolute ignorance, and people who say that, I don't even know what to say to them. They're past the point of no return in my mind. They don't care. They have lost their heart. They have lost their humanity. I hope that was an okay explanation, but let me see here. Back it up, Kim, calm down. Yeah, that's got it. Thanks for clarifying. So I get kind of all over the place. Hosea, environment plays a lot also. Can't always blame it on the parents. Right. There's they don't call it social science for nothing. There's a lot to it. And social science is a real science, and it has a lot of maturation to do, but we can only go with the best information we have. Thank you for that. Great comments. Susan, I have asked people about why they think it's okay to cage and harm children, and Trump pundits say that the blame lies in the parents. Well, you know what? That is a great point. It's a very easy way to distance yourself. So, okay, let's say you do blame the parents. So now we're torturing kids because they had shitty parents. See, it doesn't make sense. We are given the gift of humanity, which means we can use critical thinking skills to think and analyze and learn. We don't have to just take our fear and go with it. We can say, I'm afraid, but I'm going to think about this because I know it's irrational. And we got to use our humanity. It's all we have. That's what makes us special humans. You know, we can think and we can be terrified and not do horrific things to our fellow humans. So yeah, great points. I don't know, but yeah, that it's a terrible thing when people say that they don't care. I guess I don't know. I don't know. I'm lucky. I don't have to hang out with people like that, and it's a tough thing. But great point, Susan. I appreciate it very much. And all I think is, well, when we see abused children, we are encouraged to call CPS. Just get that back from the, yeah. I mean, it's a really tough thing, Pat. But they don't keep that held over his head. He did his time. He paid for it. So why keep holding it over his head? If he was white, they would, whoa. If he was white, they would not have held it over his head after he had paid for it. Thank you, Pat, for your definitive. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. Gary, the blame lies in the administration that built concentration camps. Trump and company should be tried at The Hague for crimes against humanity. 1,000% agree with you. 100%. Nails and glitter, you Facebook messaged me. Oh my gosh, I did not see it, but I will look. I will look. Thank you so much. I am so happy that you did that. I am so sorry. I've been going over messages and I did not see it, but I'll search. Maybe it went in there's a certain message place that you have to go look for or you won't get it. So I will find it. Thank you. Mr. FS Luck. Ever notice how white America has never let Michael Vick off the hook, despite serving his punishment, but somehow forgot George Zimmerman, who not only was acquitted for murdering Trayvon Martin, but also selling the gun he used to do it and is now suing the Martin family. Thank you. Perfect example of the hypocrisy, disgusting hypocrisy. And people jump on me. He wasn't even a white guy. I don't know if he was Latino. I don't know what he is. But I'm telling you right now, you are absolutely right. People have double standards, triple standards, quadruple standards, and it is disgusting. Oh, yesterday. Okay, I'll look. Thank you. But yeah, absolutely. This is not something people are making up. It's real. You see it all over the place. You hear about it. This nation's got a lot of growing up to do, and I'm afraid it's too late. It's kind of my take. I think we're kind of doomed. I hate to be the soothsayer of doom, but we've been doing this a long time. We see what happens to nations who choose to do what we do. Fall of Rome. I mean, I think it might be too late. But you know what? My short time here, I'm going to keep trying to educate people, white folks. Because see, I educate white people. I do not educate non-white people. That is not my place. I do not know more than the people living it as we speak. I do not know more about how to solve the problem. I think it's a really important point to understand. How could I? I'm not living it. I don't. And if I think I do, that's arrogant and that's privilege and that's white supremacy. I don't know more about how to solve the system and how to stop things than the actual people living it. So I'm going to go back to this little boy. I saw the video. It was sick as hell. He died. I'm sorry they let this child die. They didn't check on him. They didn't give a shit. He was 16 years old. A healthy 16-year-old walked in and had the flu and died. He had 103 fever. The nurse diagnosed him and ordered him to be checked in 2 hours and hospitalized. And they ignored him for hours and hours, and he died. At 1 a.m, Carlos can be seen in the video laying on a concrete bench in his cell with this plastic space blanket on the ground. I mean, my God, do you remember having the flu? You're sweating, you're shivering, oh my God, you're throwing up. I'm sorry to be gross, but you are not good. He was laying on a concrete slab, a cold concrete slab, fell off on his face and writhed in pain for who knows how long. He was found by his roommate. And according to ProPublica, Hernandez staggered to the toilet area in his cell in the middle of the night at the border station in Texas and collapsed nearby it. And he remained there for 4 or more hours until his cellmate woke up and discovered him. That child was killed, and we are allowing it. His cellmate grabbed the attention of the border control people, and shortly after, a physician's assistant did one single chest compression and decided he was dead. And I know I'm getting snarky and rude, but this is someone's baby boy, and they let him die. And this is where I go into a commentary for a minute, and then we can wrap it up. I have a lot of other topics that I want, but I don't want to keep everyone because I know it's getting really late, and I am so thrilled that people are here. President Trump's freaking monster. This is my commentary. That he allowed this to happen. Ripping children from their parents' loving arms is a crime against humanity. Trump's inhumane zero tolerance policy is at the southern border should be protested by every single solitary human in this nation, because guess what? We might be next. He has had 6 or more children die in his custody, our custody, after being detained. If these children were street children walking around alone, they would probably be alive because somebody would walk by and say, oh my gosh, you need to go to the hospital. He kept them in a cage without treatment. How we treat the most vulnerable humans in our midst speaks volumes about who we are as a people. And history is going to look back on us and say, my God, they were barbaric. It's going to be how we look at Romans who put people, man against a lion, and it's going to be just like that. And they're going to say, my God, how were these the same race as we are? And that's how we're going to be judged, because that's what we're doing. But we're living it, so we've normalized it all. Well, I can't, and I know a lot of you can't either. Let me see. Pat, he sure as hell's not black, that's for sure. I am losing my mind. I don't even know what you're referring to, but I'm getting overtired. Vick put himself in the spotlight, and he has no one to blame but himself. Thank you. I'm loving the opinions. And Hosea, sick. Yeah. Nails and glitter. This is also a genocide to separate children from their parents. Oh, it's just, I did 4 in-depth videos on it, and I can't explain the emotions of having to deal with this kind of thing. So 6 kids or more have died, and you think, oh, it's only 6 kids. No. We took these children. We kidnapped them from their parents, in a lot of cases, and put them in cages. And you know the story. We abused them. And if you look at one of my videos, I talk about the sexual abuse alone is, oh God, I don't want to get into it. But we did unthinkable things. Oh, Zimmerman. Thank you, Pat. Yes. Yeah. What did you say let me go back to, because that was kind of rude of me to go, hi, I don't know. I'm losing my mind. I'm just going to go back for a second. Well, he's not black. Exactly. Right. I almost actually said that, but then I was like, kind of shut my mouth. Yes, absolutely. Right. Yeah. He was given the white treatment. I don't know what he is, and I don't really care. It doesn't matter. He's suing the family. He killed their baby boy. He murdered their baby boy, and he has the gall. My God. I don't even know. It's extremely upsetting to me. But there were 0 deaths of migrant children during Obama's tenure. I just want to throw that in there to give you a little reference point. 0. Trump and his administration are murderers. They're depraved, inhumane murderers. And that is a commentary from me. You'll not find that written anywhere because that is my opinion. Anyway, I wanted to tell everybody I cannot thank you enough for your support. Part of the thing that I've been having happen is I'm booted off of Facebook. They didn't tell me why. They didn't tell me what I did wrong. They stopped posting anything I posted in my groups. They stopped posting my homepage. Hasn't gone out to anybody in months. And my page that I have 34,000 people, months, haven't gotten anything. I finally got that back. I can't post certain things, but I finally got the page back, my homepage. If you're a friend of mine on Facebook and you think I've left the earth because you don't get a single solitary post, it's because they won't post for me anymore. And if you want to know more about my life, and I'm not trying to make this about me, but this has been devastating that I've been booted off of my group of 5,000 I had, my group of 200. I mean, it's just like they decided, someone in Facebook decided that they were going to shut me up. And they did a damn good job. And so I'm counting on it hasn't happened in YouTube yet. And so I'm hoping that people have been incredibly supportive. I was devastated. Years and years of building relationships. And somebody at Facebook decided to turn a switch, click a button, because as we all know, or maybe we don't all know, I'm not sure, Mark Zuckerberg he's really something else. I don't know if he just doesn't give a shit, but his policies, I've read a lot about them. They are, I did a video on it, are basically calling someone white is equivalent to calling someone the N-word. He does not understand the power differential in society. So that's why people who say white person, like, oh, I saw a white person, you'll get kicked off. Just as much as somebody who has said the N-word. My God. I mean, so I won't get into it, but if you want to know more about, I did a 20-minute video and I just spilled my guts. So if you want to know about me, you will learn about my life and what I think of Big Brother. But I wanted to tell everybody, thank you so much for the incredible support. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you believe like I do, that it is way past time for white America to take racial responsibility. Not guilt, not blame, just learn about what has been going on that has caused all the problems we have today. We've never faced our history. And you know what? Our history is still going. Because, like I always say, white folks expecting to move on and just be like, oh, that was then. It's like a spouse who's abused their partner, punching them in the face and saying, why can't you forgive me? It's still happening. So we got a long ways to go. Thank you, Susan. I am thrilled you were here. Just thrilled. And Gary, when the king of Sodom is elected POTUS, you'll get what you voted for. Saddam is, I've read the whole story, not just the gay bash part. Now evil people do as they wish. Wow. Is that more Bible stuff? I fear the Bible. Sorry. But I want to thank everyone. Do not be shy. Write to me. Nails and glitter. I swear I'm going to find you. Please write to me and tell me what you think. And I wanted to remind everybody, I'm starting a new panel discussion. It'll be per topic. You will know the topic ahead of time. It'll be Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on my channel. And there'll be set topics that people sign up for to jump in and be involved in. And I want you to consider I mean, you shy folks, I used to be so shy, and then I turned a certain age, which I will not mention, and I became, oh, Bakari, hello, hello, hello. Thank you for saying hi. I think I had my uh, life's kind of like fill of being shy, and I don't know what happened. And someone needs to shove a sock in it. Now I just won't shut up about racism, bigotry, and inequality. Thank you. Of course. But anyway, please consider being a person who joins a panel. It's not an adversarial thing. It's that people aren't a monolith. The two people can talk about reparations and have different takes. They can both be for it. They can have, it's okay. And I'm going to step back and just be kind of like the moderator. I'll do a quick little spiel for beginning people who don't know what a topic is, and people will be able to make a point on it, and then they can do a counterpoint, and it's going to be very, very sweet and nice and darling. And I hope that you consider being in it. You do not have to have a PhD. If you have a PhD in experience, then I want you in it. And I'm hoping you can also help me find people. If you don't know somebody who is doing a topic, you might know somebody else I don't know, and bring them on. Bring them on. I really want to try this. And worst case, it won't work, but I think it's going to be really cool. I have a bunch of people who are really eager already to join in the discussion. And so it'll be a lot more contained, and I will not be talking as much, which is probably a good thing. Let me see. Pat, you fear what you don't understand, Kim, when it comes to the Bible. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you got to be understanding also. I mean, religion has been, so many horrible things have been done in the name of religion. It's like, I'm not like the sharpest knife in the drawer, but God, I see a lot of bad things. So it's like, wow. But I know a little bit, but I don't know the Bible. And so when people do quote the Bible, I'm the first to say, this is all about honesty. I have no clue what they're talking about. And I know that's terrible. And it's something I should probably look into. I have a friend who's very well versed, who is probably over the course of the next 10 years going to give me private lessons. Let's just say that. And he's hardcore. Yeah, and I know the Bible is a guide for some people. It's just not been part of my life. Just be honest. For people who truly follow it and the good parts of it, I think that's awesome. But don't get me talking about religion. Susan, the Bible has been retranslated and edited so many times it's worthless to quote. Yeah, that's definitely an opinion. I respect one of my friends who wrote a book, actually, that's sitting right here. There's his book. Kenny Craven and his wife Laura. I did an interview on it. He wrote a very easy read and he is a white man who was raised in Mississippi in the South. He's probably close to my age, I'm guessing. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm older than him. And he wrote an absolutely beautiful book. And he is a very Christian man, and I respect the hell out of him. I have nothing against people who choose to follow a faith and follow the faith. My problem with religious people who use their religion as an excuse to do rotten things to other people, that is an issue for me. But I have a lot of friends that are of many faiths, and they're amazing people. There's always a percentage that has to blow it for the rest of them. But let me see here. I'll take the last couple comments. Mr. Evans Black, Richard Copeland, so what's the excuse for Zimmerman not getting even half the scrutiny as Vick? Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's got an opinion, and I respect all of them if it comes from a place of compassion and understanding and passion. So thank you so much. Please consider being in my panel, and I'm going to be getting the information out as soon as possible. And I can't thank you enough for supporting what I'm trying to do, which is just somehow make a difference. I don't know. Thank you, and have a great night. And I hope to see you at the next week's live show. It'll be on a whole other topic, and bring it on. And bring your friends, please, if you believe like I do that it's way past time for white America to step up to the plate and support our fellow humans and learn our real racial history. So I will say good night, and you guys made my night. Thank you. So I will say goodbye, and don't forget to message me. Good night. And I will. Thank you, Mr. Evans Black. You are always good with, and other people who are watching should too. Thank you. Good night, everybody. You guys were amazing.